So on this side, you're going to think of all of the things that somebody else would use to go against your claim. And you're just going to bullet them out. So a few weeks ago, this debate sounds really silly, but in one of my classes we had a debate against whether we should teach grammar in school or whether we should not teach grammar. What? It's a big question. Yeah.
Grammar's fine, like if you just keep the point across.
So luckily, this is just an example, you gotta pay attention. I was on the side that was for grammar, and the other side was not. They were, well, it's a long story, but what we had to do is we had to sit down and think of all of the reasons why you wouldn't teach grammar in school anymore. And we wrote them down. So, things like, nobody remembers it.
No, that's true. Western culture just demolishes it.
Nobody remembers grammar. And so, that was something that we put on this side, and we had all of these other lists. And so, we kind of knew, like, oh, these are some things that the other people are going to talk about. Why is it important to know what your opponent might bring up?
So that you can counter strike.
Exactly. So if you have a list of all the things that they might say, that can help you know what to research and what to look up and what kind of quotes that you need to answer those questions. So at the bottom of the page, after you fill in this side and you have all of your evidence, you're going to do your conclusion or your concluding statement. And what's important about this part is you're going to have like 1 minute right at the very end to sum everything up and tell the judge why you should still win. Why your claim is right. This is really important because sometimes it's hard to follow along with debates and it's hard to remember what everybody said, and so if your conclusion is really strong, then it helps the judge remember, like, oh yeah, she did really good. Okay, so this is what you bring to class on the day of the debate, if you're debating. Do you have a question?
What should we do if our judges are biased?
What? Luckily, there's going to be 4 of them. So, if you have 4 biased judges, I'm sorry. You live the life of To Kill a Mockingbird. You'll have to get over it.
You live the life of Hillary Clinton. And everyone
So,
only likes Donald Trump because
maybe
he
you'll
has good hair.
connect better to the book next time you read it. But, so this is what you bring to class. These are going to be your notes.
I'm going to sign it as a judge.
And you're going to use this as your debate.
You're judging your own thing.
So, as you're debating, you have all of your evidence on one side, your counterpoints on the other side. And as your opponent is talking about these things, say that they mention something that you listed right here. And you're like, oh, I already thought about that. What you need to do is then be like, and it matches this one down here, number 4. So I can use evidence from number 4 to answer this point that they just brought up. Does that make sense? So taking notes like this on your note sheet will help you know, like, oh, I already have an answer. I already know what I'm going to say to that. So it helps you to be prepared and to know what you're going to say. Ms. Dalton's going to give you your topic, so you know what goes here. It's your responsibility to do this part, and then have a strong conclusion.
Do we get some knowledge I mean, do we get to choose if we're against or
For or against, that's going to be the tricky part, is you're going to decide the day of. So, this
Wait, what?
is...
What?
The day of?
Yes. So you're going to research both sides. Yes. Okay, so this is your judging sheet. And on the back of the judging sheet, it has directions for how to do this. And you're going to flip a coin. So on one side, you can have a claim that's for. On the back side of your note paper, you can have a claim that's against. Does that make sense?
Oh boy, okay.
Yeah, but when you did a chart,
Can we just wing it, like not write anything down?
You
like that
will
idea.
probably not get preparation credit for it if you do that way.
Mitch is like, yep. All I wanted to do was talk about drugs anyway, right?
Yeah, we should legalize cocaine because it's fun.
Mitch is like, dude, we should totally legalize. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you're talking about crack cocaine in her video.
Well, hey, if we're debating stuff, I mean, these are heavy topics to debate about. And me and Mitch say that it's alright, dude.
Okay,
Although it's not.
You guys pass it those. Hey guys, shh. Or not. That's cool. Okay, repeat your question so everybody can hear it.
Wait, what's going on?
So, if you want to be a judge, these scorecards become your notes. So if you look on the scorecard, you have space to write down the claims and the evidence of the people talking and to give them scores. And so, because I can't count today.
Oh, Chris, one of the criteria is you have to speak calmly. So, Chris will be...
Okay, I want you guys to look over this and see if you have any questions about it. Do you guys already have what? How many have to judge? I think so. Do you guys both have these? You? Okay.
I need...
Oh, you need one.
Wait, so as a judge, we have to write down all our evidence? Okay.
Yeah.
What is that? Like the most that you hear? Because sometimes it's like hard to like...
I can hear your question. You guys stop talking. Okay, what are you asking?
Oh. Well, just like if you like couldn't hear all of them, or like it's hard to like differentiate which evidence is what.
That's why both sides have to be super prepared. One side, you're very clear with your evidence. Because if the judges don't know what your evidence is, they can't give you a good score.
Yeah,
So you get 20 points for your evidence. And if the judge is like, they only said one thing, that's kind of lame, then
You only get
how are you
5
supposed to
points.
know how to give them a score? So you kind of depend on each other.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Go ahead.
So I guess I'm wondering about the speaking calmly. Does that mean we have to speak like slowly, or can we like speak fast?
You want your judge to be able to understand you.
Chris, it'll be nothing like lunch. Just do that. Yes, we always do.
The key part of the debate is to be understood.
Awesome.
If you can be understood by speaking quickly, speak quickly. But you need to take into account that judges have to be able to know what you're saying. So even if you have the best case in the whole world and nobody knows what you're talking about, you're probably not going to win, unfortunately. So, does anybody have any questions about the scorecard? Okay, where is the sign-up sheet at this point? And has it's not gone through the middle at all?
It's just around the edges.
Okay,
You guys are slow.
that's good. Okay,
Around the edges of the cookie.
so this is what you're being graded on. This is what you need to keep in mind. You have to come to class prepared for this. So when you know your topic, Ms. Dodson will give it to you. Put your pen down. Thank you. This needs to be prepared before, this is prepared on your own.
Wait,
So,
This is
when are you
after.
going to have time in class to do this?
Never.
Never.
Like, when is the debate thing?
It's after
Going
spring break.
After spring break.
So we have 2 weeks.
That's all I know. Okay, so you can put those away. Keep that in mind. And we're going to start working on another project.
Oh boy.
I have some pictures. Oh, while we move on, make sure
I'm gonna keep recording. Okay.
make sure that the sign-up sheet doesn't get lost. Okay? That's the goal of this point. So, since you guys don't have the sign-up sheet yet, we're going to start with this.
We're gonna get out in like half an hour. Hey, that's not too hard.
Okay, so, listen close to me. I'm passing around some picture books. These picture books are going to be part of the next assignment that you do.
Are we doing
You're
more
going to
picture
read
books?
the picture books. You're going to figure out which country they take place in. Okay, you're going to write that country at the top of your paper. Okay? And then you're going to choose 3 of these questions and answer them in your writer's notebooks. How many are you going to choose? How many? 3. Okay. And then after you've answered the 3, you're going to write a reflection in your journal about, you're going to write a reflection about what the activity was like, okay? So this is silent reading, silent writing, and you might have to read your story more than once, okay? So they're going around, they're getting passed around. Make sure that you don't lose the sign-up sheet in the middle of all of this. And then you write your reflections in your journals. Does anybody have any questions? So you're going to answer 3 of these questions in your journal, and then you're going to write a reflection. Did it make you frustrating to try to answer these questions? Did you have enough information? If